Hello everyone and welcome to Action RPG. I'm your host Aaron, and for today's video we're headed to the world of Last Epoch. It appears that EHG has heard our plea. We want more information. The last roadmap you gave us that only had a couple pictures, that is just not going to do it. Well, they have answered. This is the longest evening post I have literally ever seen from 11th Hour Games. So buckle in, we're gonna be covering everything. And I'm just gonna start right at the beginning of the video with the 15-second teaser trailer. Enjoy. Now, I'm normally not that guy, but I'm going to take this little victory lap that I've been saying over and over again. All these content creators are saying the update is coming in January, and I said March. Based upon marketing and their normal cadence, there's just no way we're getting it in January, and they wouldn't launch it in February because that would be launching on top of a Path of Exile League, which means if it's not January, it's March. And now we know Season 4 is coming March 26. That also means that Season 5 will be end of 2026, which means expansion is likely early 2027.
I am pretty wisdomous.
So now that that's out of the way, I really want to focus on this second paragraph here, and I'm really happy that EHG included this in the post. It just kind of makes you feel heard. Listen to this. We want to touch on our information release cadence and quantity for a moment. There's a delicate balance between keeping the community informed and keeping information hidden to build hype before a big update. We recognize that we've missed the mark in recent posts, so we're revealing much more than we usually would at this stage, but there's still plenty of details and exciting content to share as we lead up to Season 4. Missed the mark on recent posts? You don't say. So I'm glad that they acknowledge this. I'm hoping that they don't make that same mistake again. And I appreciate that they put that in there. Okay, roadmap for 4.0. Let's do this. So we actually have bullet points and like a decent amount of bullet points. Frosty LaRue, we don't have the big check mark for Season 3 anymore. Hallelujah. Here we go. When you look into the void, Season 4, seasonal mechanic, Omen Windows. Echo chains, corrupted items, corrupted altars, idle inventories, new rogue skill, Shadow Rend, Blade Storm expanded to full skill, rogue and spellblade updates, Primalist animation overhaul, and rogue animation update. Now again, I said rogue will likely be getting 2 skills. I said Blade Dancer's getting an update, and we're getting Breach. And that is basically what we are getting for Season 4. So they gave us just enough information during the Friday dev streams that we could pretty much break down exactly which was coming. So thank you for that, Mike. Season 5, seasonal mechanic, Rage of Morditas, new endgame boss, Morditas, new paladin skill, Radiant Lance, Merchant's Guild and Circle of Fortune improvements, new uniques and set items, balance and skill changes. So it looks like the bosses are coming Season 5. And then you have the expansion. 2 new story chapters and the conclusion of the Oribis saga. So the campaign will actually be finished with the Oribis update. New endgame and pinnacle bosses, Oribis, Uber Oribis, and more. Major skill system expansion, skill sigils, combat audio overhaul, animation overhauls for Sentinel, Acolyte, and Mage, like we are getting for Primalist and Rogue now. PC performance upgrades, Monolith of Fate, corruption tiers, Monolith of Fate updated etch timestones, major user interface and gamepad changes, quality of life and balance improvements, new uniques, and set items. Whew, there is a lot in there. So, 2 new rogue skills and a paladin skill and the last 2 story chapters, which would mean when it comes to passive tree, skill tree, and campaign, the base Last Epoch is done with the exception of one thing. I know there's going to be so many people this is going to make mad. Everything will be updated, new and fresh, except the final shaman skill. There is no mention of shaman's 5th skill. I was under the impression that this being a Primalist helmet kind of look-alike, and, you know, it being kind of cold and teal, that this was going to be the shaman update. No shaman. So that's pretty close. It's actually a lot more than I expected, but that did not make it in. So we already watched the teaser trailer. I'm not going to play that again. I will link this in the description if you want to check it out for yourself. Now let's talk specifically about Season 4. We now know the main mechanic, which is basically Breach from PoE. This is going to be Last Epoch's version called Omen Windows. In Season 4, travelers will encounter tears in reality known as Omen Windows. These fractures reflect the moment the observer fell into despair and pulled fate itself into darkness. Omen Windows appear as a new type of random encounter throughout both the campaign and the endgame. When you discover an Omen window and step into the area, the window shatters into a fragmented ring that draws out the Omen, an entity created from pure void and observer's madness. This begins a relentless assault of fractured enemies emerging from the shards. Defeating enemies inside the ring expands the area and progress of the encounter. So as you can see, it looks pretty similar. And as you kill enemies, the ring gets bigger and bigger. Does that sound familiar? In the first phase of the encounter, the Omen cannot be damaged or debuffed. It stays elusive while tethered to an empowered elite fractured enemies. After enough waves are defeated, the Omen destroys any remaining enemies, absorbing their strength, and then engages the player directly. Omen windows scale in difficulty as you move through the campaign and continue into the monolith with higher levels of corruption. Higher tier reward players with increased item quality and quantity and improved item quality upon completion. So basically what they're saying there is that this will scale with corruption, and the rewards for these will also scale with corruption. So this is the new Breach mechanic for LE. I said that Last Epoch's gonna spin the PoE wheel, and are we gonna get Harvest, Blight, Betrayal, Breach, and we ended up on Breach. Omen window rewards. Omen windows encounter offer a type of trove of valuable rewards, including runes of corruption. Now I'm not gonna read all this, okay? Ultimately, EHG is gonna add in a Val rune. So this is going to allow you to corrupt your items, and it says you have a chance of getting, you know, awesome benefits to the item. You have a chance for the item to go down in affixes, or you have a chance to actually brick the item. I don't know if that means shatter it or what, but ultimately you're going to be able to val your gear. So this is going to be one of the rewards. Another reward you can get is a time glass fragments. They are a new multi-use currency that can be used to trade for specific items, including runes of corruption and new woven echoes. Additionally, time glass fragments may be used during endgame, where a more challenging variant of the Omen window encounter called Greater Window may appear as an echo objective. Completing the encounter reforms the Omen window and time glass core, which allows you to spend time glass fragments to modify your echo web and add echo chains. So I'm guessing that they're using time glass fragments as a way to potentially juice up your end game monolith, which is bringing us to echo chains.
Show me the money! Show me the money!
Now, in my opinion, this is going to be a fan favorite. People are going to love echo chains. This is probably something that should have been in multiple seasons ago. So without reading this, let me explain. You're going to be able to build these chains, and you'll see these multiple echoes right here. And basically what it does is when you complete an echo, you can immediately pop to the next one and then pop to the next one. And you could chain all of these echoes together. And then when you're done with the chain, you can get all the rewards at the same time. So it's like you could just kind of, instead of like you run an echo, then you go to get your chest, then you pick the next echo, then you go in, then you portal out, you get your reward, go in. You're going to be able to chain all of these monos together, and then at the end, get a huge loot explosion. Very, very smart. I love this. So now let's talk new skills. Rogue has 2. EHG historically can only produce 1 new skill every season. So maybe the more people that they have brought on are helping them expand that, because we are getting 2. The first one is Shadow Rend. Shadow Rend is a new rogue ability that can be used as both melee and bow. It serves as a high impact, high cost option that ties directly into the rogue's broader shadow toolkit. Activating Shadow Rend triggers a swift initial strike and leaves behind a shadow that unleashes a far stronger delayed attack. The shadow then persists, allowing other shadow interaction skills to make use of it. For example, like Shadow Cascade. And here's an example of the melee attack and an example of the ranged attack. Now, the other skill is Blade Storm. And by the way, all my rogue builds literally use Blade Storm. It is so awesome. So I love that it's going to be getting its own tree. Blade Storm is a new standalone skill inspired by a fan favorite node from the Umbral Blades tree. It hurls a spinning blade to a target location, tearing through anything caught in its path. Because players consistently asked for this skill augment to be expanded, we built it its own full customized tree. And as you see here, it shows us one node, and this is Blade Storms can cast shurikens every second, consuming mana for shurikens. And on here, you see 3 Blade Storms, and obviously it is just spamming out shurikens, which is very, very cool. Now, I did just notice something. I said earlier in this video that the only skill that will be missing is Shaman's 5th skill. This actually doesn't say that Blade Storm or Shadow Rend are Blade Dancer only. So Paladin's missing a skill, Shaman's missing a skill, and Blade Dancer is missing a skill. This says Rogue ability, which means this will be a base skill for all of Rogue. That's why you can use melee and bow. And Blade Storm doesn't say anything. It just says new standalone skill. So if this isn't Blade Dancer specific, that means Blade Dancer and Shaman would still be missing its 5th skill. But nevertheless, 2 new skills coming to Rogue will be awesome because the options there are pretty limited.
Well, well.
Now, before we get into the Spellblade updates, I'm obviously recording this. The post just went out. EHG just got back to me. Both new base Rogue skills are for all 3 masteries. They are base skills. So Falconer, Marksman, and Blade Dancer can use Blade Storm and Shadow Rend. So don't worry, Shaman, you're still missing your 5th skill. You're not alone. Blade Dancer's missing its 5th skill as well, which I'm actually pretty shocked about, but that's okay. We're still getting 2 new skills. All right, Spellblade update. Now, I'm not going to read any of this. They are updating the base Spellblade. 30% of added melee damage on weapons is also gained as added spell damage. So that will be coming. They're also going to be working on a lot of survivability elements. So on here, you have Blade Conduit. There's going to be a way to support your mana. Flame Drinker. This is going to be a way to support mana by eating your fire aura stacks. Down here, you're going to have a way to trigger Lightning Blast. You're going to have a way to trigger Glacier, and you're going to have a way to trigger Fireball. So ultimately, what this is saying is that as they continue to update passives, Spellblade is getting a new passive tree. So that's basically what this, and we kind of already knew this. They said we're getting a huge update to Fire Aura, and they've already showed some of those nodes. I'm actually already working on Fire Aura builds. So this is just further showing that Spellblade is getting a full new tree. Combat feel and animation hits. Listen to this. In Season 4, we're pushing that further with significant enhancements. Enemies can now visually react to your hits through new additive animations explicitly crafted for each enemy type. This update has been applied across the game. And in here, they talk about that it might look like nothing here, but when you put the death effects and the animation and the movement and the new combat feel for the classes, it makes a huge addition to quality and feel for the game. So we'll have to see if we notice this when it actually drops, but I love that they're actually doing this, because a lot of times people talk about like, oh, this is built on Unity, it looks so old, is this built in the 90s, which is very silly. But I like that they continue to work on this to up the quality of Last Epoch. Animation updates for Primalist and Rogue. As part of our ongoing animation improvements across the game, the Primalist is receiving a full set of new animations for Season 4. Several of the original early access animations have been rebuilt and reimagined to make combat feel more impactful and movement feel noticeably smoother. So once all 5 classes have all their new animations in, with the combat feel for enemies, I think it's going to make a huge addition. And the game already looks pretty good. If you played Epoch 5 or 6 years ago today, it's pretty incredible where they've taken it. They've also updated the game to Unity 6, which is the latest version of Unity, which has given them lots of tools and different things they can do from a visual and performance standpoint. So that looks pretty good. And the Rogue is coming. Same thing with the Primalist. The other 3 classes are coming with the expansion. Loot filter. We knew we were getting more rules on the loot filter. You're now going to be able to filter by forging potential, legendary potential, Weaver's Will, and Weaver's Touch, along with newly additions, new sound options coming as well. Uniques to the game. We're getting new uniques. We're getting new sets. They show us 1. And it's like, again, I know it's an ongoing joke. Me and my community, we always joke that EHG loves Primalist, but more specifically, EHG loves Beastmaster. We thought we were getting a Necro update and Beastmaster got all the love. The one unique they chose to show off, Beastmaster. The worst summon in the game is Summon Spriggan, and we got a Summon Spriggan Stormcrow unique. Increased minion fire, chance to ignite on minion hit, health gained on companion hit, increased health for you and your minions, and I see this stuff and I just get, I don't want to say angry because that's the wrong term, but like, why can't Necromancer get it? This says 44% increased health for you and your minions. 44%. Oh, Necro is so sad. Summon Spriggan and Summon Stormcrows are converted to fire. Your Summon Spriggan Thorn Volley, +1 projectiles and 10% multiplicative damage per summoned Stormcrow. 5% of current health drained per second while above 80% health. So obviously this little drain right here at 80% health is probably why it has so much maximum health on it. But yeah, this is absolutely awesome. Now, Summon Spriggan has been terrible forever as an offensive companion. You can't have two of them if you go into Spriggan form. But yeah, we've messed around with it, putting like every offensive minion thing we can, and it still sucks. So we're going to have to see how this plays out. But maybe they're going to buff Summon Spriggan as well. So that's the new unique, Rye's Embrace.
Coming soon.
Last but not least, let's talk about the future Season 5 and expansion. And just know that obviously this stuff is a little bit out. So you have a new seasonal mechanic Rage of Morditas. I think I'm saying that right. Freed from his icy prison, the demigod Morditas rises to feed on violence, growing stronger with every drop of blood you spill until the inevitable confrontation. Ooh, he turns into a new end game boss that you will fight as you go through the seasonal mechanic. Major faction overhauls. We're getting our improvements to COF and MG. We get Paladin's final skill, which is Radiant Lance. I like the way that sounds. And then prioritizing existing content updates and improvements are included in all patches. New items, balance changes, etc. Last Epoch Orbis. Oh my gosh, look at all this. 2 new story chapters, which complete the Orbis saga. New endgame and pinnacle bosses, Orbis, Uber Orbis, and more. Major skill system expansion, skill sigils. Listen to this. This system has been expanded significantly from the early roadmap version that originally targeted a seasonal release. We decided to invest more resources into the system because of what we feel it will bring to the game. We have already spent more than a year in development, and work on sigils will continue right up to the expansion's content lock. And just know that EHG has already said that they are not locking skill sigils with Paradox classes. So this is not Paradox classes, okay? Monolith Corruption tiers, Monolith Etched Timestones, major UI and gamepad improvements, performance and optimization, obviously what they have to do this because of the console launch, combat feel and visual improvements, combat audio overhaul, additional unique sets, new enemies, woven echoes, quality of life improvements, balance changes, and more. Thank you for your feedback. We appreciate you so much. So that is the whole post. And man, again, that is the longest evening news post I've ever seen from them. I've actually never seen them post maybe ever a news post in the evening time, let alone of this extent. We are talking over 4 months until we have season 4, and we basically know everything, at least all the major systems. Now, I don't want to sit here and just say this is all rainbows and butterflies and I'm blown away. The new roadmap is great. The communication is great. Obviously, if we would have got this post first instead of the one, over a week ago, like I think a lot of things would be different for sure. But obviously, I'm sad about March 26. I want them to get away from grinding gear games. And Judd, as I'm recording this video, has already said that their communication has been better than ever, so that they're not dropping Last Epoch on top of a Path of Exile League, and they're actually talking about it. So I love that Judd said that. But, this is going to be a very long wait. March 26 is a while. Remember that 4 months was December 21st. We're approaching 4 months since season 3, and it's going to be another 4 months. So it's going to be another 4 months. It's just a really long time for everybody like me that really loves Last Epoch. We are starved for content. EHG, again, while I'm recording this, is saying that they are working on all this stuff simultaneously. So I'm just hoping that with the Crafton acquisition, with the hiring of all the people, with the console release and getting everybody trained up, that as they spin up these new teams and departments, that we're just not going to have to wait this long. Not having consistent content releases just can hurt you so bad. So either way, I don't want to end as a Debbie Downer. Love the communication, love everything they wrote. It just sucks that we have to wait so long. So I'm excited for all this. Obviously, I'll be live on Air in Action RPG the next few days covering all things Epoch. We'll go over this more in depth and read the whole thing together, and I'll try and get as much info from EHG as I can so that I could answer as many questions as I can. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Does this make you feel hopeful for the future? Do you like what you see? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe if you think I have earned it. Don't forget to check out my new website, actionrpg.com. We've signed a couple new writers. We have got leveling guides, build guides, tips and tricks, news, event calendar, and some other tools coming to the website, including a new music player, actionrpg.com. Last but not least, join the Discord, over 5,000 members. We love Last Epoch and all things Action RPG. Right now, I got a merch giveaway for an Action RPG hat. We try to do merch giveaways, game giveaways, movie nights, game nights. Just for being a member of the community, we like to do fun stuff. And the next event, my Thanks-a-thon that kicks off on 12/12. All the shenanigans will be through Discord. So I'm done. Hopefully you're entertained or at least learned something. Aaron, out.